Introduction to Zechariah. Author Zechariah. Date written between 520 and 518 BC. Chapters 1 through 8. Chapters 9 through 14. Authored some years later, possibly between 480 and 470 BC. Time span. Chapters 1 through 8 cover about 2 years during the rebuilding of the temple. Chapters 9 through 14 about 10 years after the temple is completed. Title. From the book's author, Zechariah, this means God remembers. Background. About 2 months after Haggai's first message to Jerusalem, Zechariah begins a similar ministry. Zechariah is the son of Berchana, Berechchiah, and the grandson of Iddo, Iddo, who were among the exiles that returned to Jerusalem under Zerubbabel. Zechariah's message from those rebuilding the temple of God is one of encouragement, comfort, and judgment. Where written, Jerusalem, to whom? To a restored Israel. Content. Zechariah's message begins with a series of night visions which offer both comfort to the people of God in rebuilding the temple and judgment for the disobedient people and nations. Zechariah joins the older Haggai in exhorting the people to finish construction of the temple, which they accomplished in about 4 years' time, and encouraging a closer walk in obedience to God. The people's devotion to the task increased when they are finally made to realize the glory of God cannot return to the temple if the temple does not exist. Zechariah's prophecies concerning the Messiah include the righteous Baruch the righteous Baruch, Zechariah chapter 6, the triumphal entry of the colt of the donkey, Zechariah chapter 9, and the betrayal for 30 pieces of silver, Zechariah chapter 11. The book closes with the day of the Lord and the restoration of Israel. Key words: obedience and Messiah. Zechariah lets the nation know that the future blessings are contingent on the people's obedience to God and His word. The coming of the Messiah is central to the book. His power, betrayal, and kingdom. Themes. God's ways are not just best for God, they are also best for us. We need to fear no obstacle when we are on the side of God. God desires pure actions, but even more, He desires pure motives for our actions. A person who loves the Lord will also love and will also have love and compassion for others. God's plan of redemption through Jesus Christ was established from the time sin first entered the world. Outline. Number 1, Zechariah gives God's call to repentance. Zechariah chapter 1 verses 1 through 6. Number 2, Zechariah has 8 visions from the Lord. Zechariah chapter 1 verse 7 through Zechariah chapter 6 verse 8. Number 3, Joshua is crowned. Zechariah chapter 6 verses 9 through 15. Number 4, God seeks obedience, not hypocrisy. Zechariah chapter 7 verses 1 through 14. Number 5, the Lord promises blessings for Israel. Zechariah chapter 8 verses 1 through 23. Number 6, Israel's enemies are judged. Zechariah chapter 9 verses 1 through 8. And number 7, the coming of the Messiah and his reign. Zechariah chapter 9 verse 9 through Zechariah chapter 14 verse 21. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of the book of Zechariah.